Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. I feel privileged and honored to be speaking to this August gathering at House of Commons. So therefore, at the onset of my presentation, I would like to thank the whole team of JKLF in UK, led by elderly Professor Raja Zafar Khan, the head of JKLF Diplomatic Bureau, Mr. Sabir Gul, the central chief organizer of JKLF, and none other than the team captain, the President JKLF UK, Mr. Liaquat Ali Lone, for making great efforts in timely organizing this conference at House of Commons. Taking the opportunity, let me again thank all honorable speakers and worthy participants, especially the distinguished parliamentarians, respected lords, human rights activists, civil society representatives, and the entire JKLF leadership in UK who reserved their precious time for making this event a success. Ladies and gentlemen, without going into the historical background, the decades of struggle followed by unprecedented sacrifices rendered by people stands witness to the fact that non-resolution of internationally recognized issue of Jammu Kashmir has been in the past, is currently, and shall remain a very serious threat to local as well as regional peace, harmony, development, and prosperity. It's again a proven fact that no extremism or use of military might can yield results unless the democratic values and principles, moralities, international laws, covenants, promises made at local and international levels, and the very basic human rights are not upheld by the concerned governments and the representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, the very foundations or the basis of the issue of Jammu Kashmir is nothing more than that of fulfillment of pledged right to decide or right to self-determination to the people of the state of Jammu Kashmir, for the attainment of which people have rendered unprecedented sacrifices. They rose up, and later at one stage, in accordance with UN Charter, complying the UN Resolution number 2621, resorted to violent means as well to achieve their national liberation or independence of their motherland. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know that JKLF stands for the resumption of sovereignty, independence, and reunification of the divided parts of Jammu Kashmir as it existed on 14th of August 1947. It's worth to mention here that after the exhaustive, peaceful, political, and diplomatic efforts since 1947, and after the brute response the peacefully struggling people were met with, the Kashmiri youth, following the footsteps of their national hero, Muhammad Maqbool Butt, who was hanged at Tihar jail in 1984, led by JKLF under the chairmanship of great late Amanullah Khan, took up to the arms against the occupation of their motherland in 1988-89. Respected participants, as the spokesman of JKLF, let me make it clear that JKLF resorted to violent means in 1988-89, not to kill the humanity, but it was aimed just to divert the attention of the international community towards this ignored issue of Jammu Kashmir and towards its just and impending final resolution. The cessation and suspension of JKLF's armed struggle in 1994 confirms our claim when some of the civil society members of India, along with some very important diplomatic missions, especially from UK and US in New Delhi, brokered the agreement between JKLF and the then government of India. Announcement of unilateral ceasefire and treading a peaceful and non-violent path by Mr. Yasin Malik, the incarcerated chairman of JKLF, at that time was very bold decision to stand with. It's worth to mention here that after the announcement of unilateral ceasefire by JKLF, hundreds of its party cadres were killed by Indian forces, and it's on record that Mr. Yasin Malik himself survived 6 life attempts from both Indian forces as well as from those radical militant outfits who did not like his decision of transition. Again, making our stand clear that JKLF believes in just, permanent, peaceful and democratically reached upon resolution of the issue through dialogue. In order to bring the issue at limelight and to draw the attention of the world community for its urgent resolution, especially of India, Pakistan and the relevant international institutions. From UN headquarters to world power centers, from the capitals of Indo-Pak and to every nook and corner of the forcibly occupied state of Jammu Kashmir, JKLF carries with it a history of great diplomatic, human rights and political endeavors and peaceful campaigns. I don't want to mention every endeavor or the campaign JKLF undertook because there's a time constraint. But I must say that during all this peaceful struggle, it's on record that people were met with brute force. Besides Amnesty International, the human rights reports of United Nations Human Rights Commission Office of 2018 and 19 stands witness to the occurring of gross human rights violations in the state. These violations in Indian-occupied Jammu Kashmir are systematic and sponsored, while as in Azad Jammu Kashmir controlled by Pakistan, these are just structural in nature. In pursuance of peaceful political resolution of the issue, besides all the major and important political shades of India and Pakistan, including their civil society representatives, the JKLF, led by its chairman, Mr. Yasin Malik, held official parleys at highest level with prime ministers of both the countries, represented freedom movement of Jammu Kashmir at many national and international conferences, and has held meetings with the officials as well as with the civil society representatives at world-renowned policy-making institutions and universities during his visit, especially during his visit abroad, especially in USA and UK. Preempting the two-point constitution, no to violence and yes to dialogue, laid down by the international community after 9/11, JKLF by all means contributed its best in the peaceful resolution of Jammu Kashmir issue. Unfortunately, both the countries, India and Pakistan, in the hostile atmosphere, pursued their own biased approach on Kashmir issue, with one categorically denying and the other recognizing limited people's right to self-determination. World must know and acknowledge the reality that the Jammu Kashmir issue is not a territorial dispute between India and Pakistan to be settled by themselves. Rather, it's a question of non-fulfillment of pledged, unfettered right of self-determination of a nation to decide about their own fate. Therefore, being the principal party to the dispute, Kashmiris' active involvement in any kind of dialogue process is a must and prerequisite to yield results. Absence of any of the three parties to the issue, as experienced, won't yield results. Ladies and gentlemen, with the change in government in India, led by extremist Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, under the leadership of Mr. Narendra Singh Modi in 2014, and then regaining power in 2019, Indian approach towards the peaceful resolution of Jammu Kashmir issue diminished as they altogether trampled the norms, brushed aside the bilateral as well as the international agreements and covenants, ignored the assurances made by their previous governments, and pursued the policy of use of military muscle at its fullest to curb the just cause of people's right to self-determination. They unfairly and undemocratically are busy in silencing the already choked voice of people in the troubled state, especially after abrogation of Article 370 and 335A on 5th of August 2019. And while annexation and reoccupation of Jammu Kashmir and bifurcation of the state into two union territory, they issued over 4 million domiciles to non-state subjects with the aim to change the demography of the state, thus alarming me, putting over a 22 million populated nation with rich and oldest written history, valued traditions, and shining political background at the verge of extinction. Ladies and gentlemen, political victimization of incarcerated chairman JKLF, Mr. Yasin Malik, the most popular, acclaimed, and respected public leader across the ceasefire line of the state, and banning of the most vibrant, progressive, liberal, secular, and democratic political organization like JKLF are the best case studies for the civilized world and human rights institutions